Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. If you haven't been here before, there's something you should probably know before we get into this article here, and that is I collect, but if you ask my wife, it's hoarding, typewriters. Why? Because I think that they are probably the most optimally functioned tool for writing. I don't have to worry about my sloppy handwriting. Everything is in form. You just put the paper in. You don't have to worry about your ink cartridge running out, your toner getting all over the place when you change it. It's all just right there. It's a word processor, but without the spell check. And a printer, all in one. However, people are now, and they have been for a while, trying to bring back something very similar to the typewriter. And this example here, this article is from lilypudding.com. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I've never heard of this site before, but it popped up on my news feed, and it is about the microjournal Rev 7. It's a DIY portable typewriter with an e-ink display. There's a few things about this title that already tells me this is not a typewriter. Typewriter has very distinct features about it. Like one, you put paper in it and it prints as you type. This is what makes the function of a typewriter. But let's learn about this little weird dinkadoo thingamabob and see what they have to say about it. Because I'm going to have some advice at the end of this. I already know I'm going to have some advice at the end of this. Please, for the love of God, do not go out and buy this thing that we have not learned about yet. The microjournal Rev 7 is a distraction-free writing device. Kind of sounds like an old-style typewriter. With a 4.76-inch e-ink display, screen, a mechanical keyboard, and a design meant for typing, not much else. So essentially what you are describing is a word processor. It's the latest in a line of microjournal devices from developer Unki Lee, Korean, but it's the first to feature a paper-like e-ink display and the first with a staggered keyboard rather than an ortholiner keyboard. Looks pretty flat to me, if I had to say so myself. It looks just like a computer keyboard. The keyboard update should make the new model easier to use for folks who aren't used to an ortholiner layout. I'm actually going to have to look up some of these terms later. What I'm seeing is a standard keyboard. While the display means the device has a sunlight viewable display that emits no light and can be used with an ambient light only. Okay, so you got this screen on here. And they even designed it to look very similar to like a 1970s keyboard, typewriter, okay? I mean, the colors even are very 1970s retro. Like a Royal Portable, if you will. I don't know why it has a knob, whether that's to make the screen go up or down. That's my guess. But let's learn a little bit more, except is that the end of the article? Nope. There's more. Just a shit ton of ads in the middle of the story. Of course. Lee has posted software, hardware design files, and an explanation of the latest microjournal revision on GitHub. So anyone with the resources and know-how can build their own, but a limited number of units will also be available for purchase from Lee's Tindy shop on April 10th, 2025. You've got 8 days. 8 days! Can't wait! Note that the version available from Tindy will ship without a few key components. You'll need to bring your own. It literally says bring, not buy. Like you're going to just automatically have one of these batteries. A 18,650 LiPo battery. There's a ledge designed to clip a book light for typing in the dark, but the book lamp is not included, which means more batteries, unless you're going to plug it in. At that point, if you're plugging something in, it's not a typewriter. And the $339 starting price includes a Cherry MX profile keyboard, PVC printed circuit board, but does not include the mechanical key switches and keycaps. What is included with this? You'll have to either pay extra for a fully assembled unit or bring your own switches and keycaps. This is not a deal. $339. You can get a tablet. You can get a really cheap laptop that might be 5 years out of date, but still freaking works. In terms of software, the microjournal boots nearly instantly into a text editor with very limited functionality. Documents are saved to a removable micro SD card, of course, or you can sync your text documents to Google Drive over a Wi-Fi connection. It's not a typewriter. Earlier versions of the microjournal had small LCD displays, but the microjournal Rev 7 uses a LilyGo T5 e-paper display. The screen is 4.7 inches, grayscale display with a low power consumption and a low screen refresh rate. Power consumption. You know what I don't have to worry about charging? A typewriter. In order to speed things up so that you'll see characters as you type them, Lee enabled support for a partial screen refreshing so that characters show up on the screen around 1 or 2/10 of a second after you press a key on the keyboard. You know what shows up right away? Ink on paper. It's not quite as responsive as an LCD or an OLED display, but it's not as jarring as waiting a second or two for each character to display. There is a little bit of ghosting, with some remnants of previous images remaining on the screen as you type. That's fun. So there's also support for forcing a full screen refresh when you want to completely redraw the screen. And there's a video at the bottom. So yeah, this thing, I'm going to try to find a picture of this to use for this video. But I don't know why they're trying to call this a typewriter. It's not. And the thing is, okay, my advice. So this thing here is $339. And you still, they don't say it, but you still have to connect this to a printer to get your final product in your hands, right? Which obviously this is not directed towards anything in print on paper that you can edit in front of you, right? This is all meant to be transferred to a computer, which defeats the purpose of calling this a typewriter. Like, this isn't even an IBM Selectric level, right? This is basically like a very simplified word processor minus the dot matrix printer that you would have attached to it, right? Where you can type, everything's going on the screen. You hit print, it goes over to the printer. And then you get your final document, but it's in your hands. No, this is just a very expensive real crappy version of Microsoft Word. And I don't know why they keep trying to make these things. There was one guy, I don't know if he's around anymore, but he figured out how to turn an actual typewriter into basically a keyboard for like a tablet. I initially thought this was really cool until it didn't work. But yeah, these things. They pop up every now and then. The retro people tend to think that they're cool, like it's a steampunk version of a typewriter mixed with a computer. But in reality, this is probably one of the crappiest laptop computers because it still connects to Wi-Fi. So you can still link this thing to a Google account to where you're just going to transfer it over to your computer anyways. And it has a battery. A typewriter, you literally carry it in a case, you open it, you set it out on a picnic table, you set it on a table, you have it in your lap if it's... And the thing with an actual typewriter, and yes, I know, if you go on to like Etsy and a bunch of other websites, you're going to find refurbished, ready to go. And in reality, all they do is they clean these things and they make sure that the paint looks good. And they're charging like $200-$300 a piece for these. You go to like an estate sale, an antique mall, some place where somebody set out a typewriter for $50. Does the carriage move when you type? Can you hit the space bar? Are the type heads reaching the platen? You can buy ribbon. Temu carries cheap ribbon, okay? For $50 and a little bit of cleaning, you can have a fully functional typewriter that'll work 10 times better than this $339 thing that is coming out April 10th. Just buy a typewriter. I'm telling you. If this is how you want to work, if this is how you want to write, spend $50, clean it up, become acquainted with it, set it out. It's a nice conversation piece when you have company over. But seriously, just go out and buy a typewriter. And the thing is, anything from 1950s beforehand is like 70, 80 years old, and they need no maintenance. They still work. It's not broken. Stop trying to fix it. Keep on typing.